I was 28 years old, sitting in a beach in the Maldives, dream destination. Everybody told me that it's their dream destination. They want to take their honeymoon there. And on the outside, it looked like the dream. Blue water, just the perfect destination. $6,000 a night for the villa that I was staying in. But you know what? At this specific moment in my life, I felt nothing. But I was obviously lying. It was a collaboration, and I was telling all my followers, back then close to 1 million followers, that I was super happy and super grateful to be there. And you might relate to me. And the reason why I want to share with you my story today is because a lot of men are in this actual position. Either they're not able to go to the next level, they don't know if they should keep pushing even though they're successful. Where am I going next? Do I really want to keep doing what I'm doing? Or when they achieve a certain goal, it doesn't feel the same inside. You're taking strategy coaching, business coaching, AI coaching, a bunch of different things to upscale your business, but the results are not always upscaling, or inside it doesn't follow. And my promise to you in this video is that I want to explain you my story so that maybe you can relate, and I want to explain you what I found and I helped a lot of CEO and successful men find is the root cause of everything, which is identity. And in this video, I'm going to explain you a little bit about it. But first, I want to tell you my story, the origin story that led me to create the final version of the coaching that I do now. And why did I relaunch it right now? And it's called HUOS. So Human Upgrade OS. And it's the 4th version of the identity coaching that I do, the most optimized version, the most authentic to me. So let's start there. When I was young, there was things that happened in my family. There was some conflict between my parents about money. My parents were very loving, but obviously my dad was a gambler and there was some money problem at some point. We lived good, but then my mom was working, and the only fight that I remember in my mind, because there's a lot of things that happened, but that one thing that stood out when I was young is money is an issue and it's causing fight. I told myself that day that if I had unlimited amount of money and I was powerful and I had money, I wouldn't fight with my future wife. I wouldn't have problem, because to me, money was causing all the issue. So I said, if I'm rich, there's no issue. That led me to believe that money was safety and I needed it absolutely. That crafted what I call a belief, an identity inside of me that went and run my life for what I would say the next 20 years until I was approximately 30 years old. And a lot of people, a lot of men like you and me are in this situation. There's an identity, what I call an operating system, that is running their life without them ever deciding what is that identity gonna be. So for me, it was exactly that. I needed validation, I needed money, and I told everybody that I was gonna be a multimillionaire by the age of 24. Was I a multimillionaire at 24? No, I was bankrupt. That's what happened. 5 toxic relationships and a bankruptcy and a constant depressed state, always focusing on the negative because I put so much pressure on myself that my validation and my value as a man was how much money that I make. And obviously, to me, to be a man of value, you needed to have $1 million in your bank account, which I didn't. It led me to fear of missing out, poor decision making, bad opportunities, me getting into multiple business, always seeking for things that were not right for me. I didn't trust my intuition or my gut. I didn't choose. It was always about the money. Every decision that I was making in my life was for more money, becoming more successful, and always chasing more. I was not grateful for anything because as long as it was not $1 million, I couldn't feel grateful. It was programmed inside of me. So even when I made my first 50K a year, not grateful. I was broke in my head. First 100,000, I was still broke. After 24, when I finally bankrupt, I started analyzing that, hey, it might be all the girls that I choose that were wrong for me, but I'm the man that choose them. And I was also doing the work, the self-work, but every work that I was doing in my head was gonna be used to become a millionaire. So I wasn't assimilating the right way. I consumed the content, but a lot of things I understood later when I shifted my identity and I rewired what I call identity engineering. At 24, I tell myself that it's time for a change and I'm gonna stay single for a long time until I'm ready to meet the right person for me. And I'm gonna start changing a little bit my behavior and what I do. The one thing that I didn't change is the way that I present myself on social media. It's been 4 years that I was an influencer, so I doubled down on fitness influencing and who I was. And I landed my first contract. It was 50,000 or 60,000 a year, around that. Plus I had multiple other influencer deal back then. So at this specific age, it was a lot of money. That year, within 6 months, I was at 100,000 a year. So super proud of myself, doubled my income. I got my luxury brand new Mercedes. I got a luxury apartment, and mean that 1 year before that, I was bankrupt. So I had no money left. But everything I was doing at this point was still about money. I kept working on myself. I kept doubling down because that's what felt like the right thing to do. That's what was programmed in my internal system, my internal OS. Leading me to the moment that I told you in the first second of the video, the big collab where I got this amazing Maldives travel, $50,000 trip, all paid for. I go there. And it's supposed to be the next shiny thing on my list. I'm traveling the world. My dream came true. Like, I'm being paid to travel the world and be a fitness influencer. How amazing is that? But I couldn't be grateful because I was not at $1 million and I was not being my authentic self. And the more I was pushing towards this identity, the more I was accumulating victory and wins, the more it was reinforcing the wrong identity, the man that I was not. And that's something that I call in the huos, the done pretending. The man that you are in public start to have such a big gap with the man that you are in private. So when you introduce yourself and the way that you present yourself to the world is one person. And for me, it was a fitness influencer. I was this shirtless all the time, all about the appearance, the physique. And I was being that one person, but inside, I was different. And the more I was pushing this identity and the more successful I was getting, the more the gap was digging in between who I was and who I pretended to be. Finally, at some point in 2020, I just couldn't pretend anymore, and I had to change a little bit the way that I appeared online because it was depressing for me. It was just so tiring to pretend to be someone that I wanted to quit social media. That was in 2020. And at this specific point in my life, I was making around 150 to 200,000 a year. I stopped, but not completely, because I needed the money. And I just moved to Los Angeles. And I was like, wow, I'm just gonna change it a little bit so I feel okay. And I kept pushing. And that's when I created my TikTok. And I went all in and I grew 4 million followers in 5 months. And I was going more viral than ever before, and the deals were coming. $6,000 a post, $50,000 contract with some company for a deal, and I just kept growing money-wise. And at some point, I passed the 500,000 a year. I was making above that. I was going towards $1 million a year. And in between those time, I met my wife, and it just made me realize, because she was living her own dream of owning an e-com company, coaching and being herself, it was just a reflection for me that that's the man I should be. And with her help at the beginning, I created the first version of the program of my coaching that was called Road to Abundance. I had no experience. I only had a lot of knowledge. I didn't really know how to put it together, so I launched it. It was very similar to what I do right now, but first version. And I didn't understand fully that what I was doing was identity. Back then I called it mindset and abundance coaching. I took clients, they had amazing results because I was fully invested. For the first time in my life, I was actually doing something that I really wanted to do for a long time. But I was still showing up on social media a little bit disassociated. So I kept posting and growing my TikTok. And at this moment in my life, I was still doing also OnlyFans, which was bringing around 300,000 to 400,000 a year. And I was making around 300,000 to 400,000 a year with influencer. Plus, I was a trainer when I was living in Beverly Hills, making a few $100,000 with that. And 2 years with my wife, or a year and a half, I just had this moment. I remember it was at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. I was coaching clients. My clients were having amazing results. And the more results and the more clients I was coaching, the more I felt like I was living a little bit of a lie. Because even though I wasn't posting all the sexy fitness content and I was becoming this person online with my post, the more I felt like OnlyFans shouldn't be part of my life. And even though I was making money training people and I was making money being an influencer, I just felt like this was attached to an old identity that doesn't belong to me anymore. So that specific day, I decided that I'm gonna cut all my income one shot. More than $500,000 a year. I was making close to 700,000-800,000. Just dropped everything. I stopped posting on social media. I had more than 5 million followers. I needed a break from everything, and I needed to reassess who was gonna be the next version of myself. And this time, I wanted to decide the identity that I was gonna become, because that's what I was coaching clients. And my clients were having amazing results. I took some clients, their business from 10 million to 27 million. I had clients going from their best month was 100,000. Within 6 months with me, their best month became 250,000. I had clients completely change their life with the coaching that I've done. And I was like, this coaching need to be applied 100% to myself too. I can't be coaching something and not representing it 100%. And that's why I made the cut instantly. I don't say that that's what you have to do. It was extremely transformative for me as a journey, going from making close to $1 million a year, having so much abundance, to your income dropping at zero in 1 week, and restarting the business and doing things and going through your own process. And at the same time, not too long after, I decided that I was gonna stop social media for what I thought would be a year. Ended up being almost 4 years. I became a dad of 2 kids. But in the process, it was just so amazing. And I kept taking clients and coaching clients and having amazing transformation results. And then the program changed to Rewired, then Mindset to Million. But it never felt like it was exactly what I was doing, and it never felt like it was exactly mine until I found the name Human Upgrade OS. And that I define exactly what I do, which is identity coaching. And I like this name because it represents the OS, just like technology, just like your iPhone. So your iPhone has application. The application is what I call business strategy, knowledge, information, is apps on your phone. Then there is a software and an OS that runs the phone. But now imagine that you're trying to make a FaceTime, or that you're trying to do AI on an iPhone 2. The reason why it's never gonna work, or not work properly, or not at all, or there's gonna be so many breaks, it's because the software and the phone are not up to date. And that is what's happening for a lot of CEOs like you and me. We're trying to run new program, new apps, super new technology thing on an old software that we didn't design. And you always update your business strategy. You always do coaching in that sense. You might have done mindset coaching, but at the end of the day, I'm 100% sure that you never done identity coaching. You never went to the root cause of the OS that controls your life, because it's 95% of your subconscious mind is your operating system in the back that controls and dictate your behavior. And this will run your life. And it's really important to understand this concept, because you can divert from it a little bit. That's why if you take some business strategy, that's why if you go to an event, that's why if you have a certain amount of success, you can stay with it for a little while, and then it's gonna snap back. Either you feel like you lose drive, you lose motivation, you feel a little depressed, you're stagnating at a level. I had one of my clients at 1.7 million for 3 years in a row, even though he invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching and strategy and business. It's not that he didn't have the knowledge to go to the next level. It's that the identity underneath didn't have the update necessary to do. And after the coaching with me, within 12 weeks, he did his first $650,000 month and then a $950,000 month. And he ended the year around $3 million. He had the same information, same business strategy, but it was a new man, a new identity operating that knowledge. Sometimes it's just one belief that we change, one boundary, the whole operating system, the way that you operate in life. I remember one client's 10 million, his business grew to 27 million within a year because of the way that he was taking and making decision and leading his company as the old identity versus the new one was totally different, and people will feel it. So for me, what happened, it was a total change. I decided who is the new Mike Chabot, who is that version of myself. And when I was ready to start last year, life decided that I needed a little bit more time. I got mold poisoning in Austin, Texas, which led to another year of no work because I was completely messed up. I did 5 or 6 pneumonia back to back, which I never had in my life, even living in Canada for 20 years in the cold. I had multiple sinus infection. Mold was just completely present in my body, giving me soreness, pain. I couldn't train. I snapped my back. It wasn't healing. My Shilajit really helped me, but it didn't save the thing because the environment, we didn't know there was mold in the new house. Plus, there was a lot of things that can get complicated in the material. They're very toxic in America. And because I was working from home in that container, it's like if it was always taxing my system. Once I got out of the environment, I started healing pretty good when I moved to Portugal. And that is why now I'm ready to relaunch the brand. The Huos, completely final. I launched it with one client a little over a year and a half ago. It's been ready, but the timing is now. Now I'm ready to finally be 100% and have more clients. I'm relaunching the Enhance. So my supplement brand, I'm changing the name. That's gonna be another video, but I'm relaunching everything now that it fits my identity. And now I'm talking to you, and you might relate to this. You don't have a discipline problem. You don't have a motivation problem. You don't have a strategy problem. You don't need more information. Now with AI, everything is so easy to access. You have an identity problem. The man that is running your life might not be the version that you need to be in order to go to the next level or to have the dream life that you want to have. And this is crucial. And I've seen it with all my clients that I coach. Once you make the shift, and you can look at the video testimonial, it completely changed your whole life. So for me, it's one mission. It's helping you to create that next identity. I have one of my friends, and I remember he was calling me so many times telling me how he was depressed and he needed more motivation. He wanted to take Adderall, and his business was doing amazing. He was making millions of dollars, but he didn't feel like the business that he was running was being for him. And once we changed his identity, once I had a long talk with him and I coached him for it, now he created a business that is thriving for him, is the new version of himself. He let go of everything and he's happier than ever before. He doesn't need Adderall, only taking Mind Hack, being focused, being driven, and he has his new mission. And now the amazing part is that he chose it. Who does he want to become? What company does he want to create? What impact does he want to have? And again, if that's you, you don't need to let go of everything you have in your life. It's not every man that will do it. It's not all my clients that do it. Some clients change 360. Some clients make just adjustment. Some clients change the man running the same exact business and the results are completely different. You have to remember that your identity is creating the life that you're living. So if you're like me and you don't like the life that you're living right now, or the dream life that you want, or the man that you want to become is a different version of yourself and you don't know what is causing it and you need help to do so, well, I'm happy to help you. The first thing that you can do is to go on my link, and I'm gonna also drop the link under the video. What I designed is an AI. It will help you to reveal the belief and the bottleneck that is running your current identity. It's totally free. The link is below. I invested close to $1 million in my personal development over the years, traveled the world. I've been in mastermind with amazing people, super successful people. I've coached tons of men and CEOs just like you and me to change their life completely. And with all that knowledge, I put it in the AI, And it's asking you very deep and meaningful question to find the bottleneck in your identity. You can click it below. It's called Audit. Make sure you have 10 minutes, invest in yourself, go do it. It's gonna create for you what I call an identity audit, and it's gonna send it to you and reveal to you what is the one bottleneck, and it might be life-changing. And then if you wanna help to apply it, feel free to reach out. I have a few opening spots for the new class that I'm starting for the HUOs. And if you have any question or you wanna share some stuff or you relate to my story, feel free to reach out to me. Comment below the video, DM me on Instagram. That was my story. I wanted to share it with you and share with you my mission. So for me, it's two company, one mission, optimizing human in order for them to be the best version of themselves, the hardware and the software. That's why I have the supplement company that is aligned with the identity coaching. I have multiple other things that I want to do in my head. And now I'm clear with one mission. That's why I don't mind telling you right now that I'm restarting from zero in terms of income. But where I'm going, I know. And the man that I am behind, I know. And I know that I'm going to be extremely successful. But this time, I'm going to be grateful and I'm going to value it. And I'm going to be so proud once I achieve it, because it's going to be something that I choose to become, not something that was programmed a long time ago. If you like this video, I'm going to create so much more. I have so much knowledge and value to share with you. So if you're like me, make sure to subscribe. If you related to the video, please give a thumbs up and comment. I'll make a video every week, and I'm starting back posting every day on social media. We're back, but this time we're doing it the right way. I'll see you in the next video.